there's a disparity between the curriculums that our schools are offering in this country and what the industry looks for, because we see a situation where once these individuals or students graduate, then they have to be taught again by these industries that they what they were required to do. What are your thoughts on how we could better include what the industry needs in this country to avoid this gap that exists between graduates going into school, going into this industry, and then having to be taught again, which is time lost? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, one, if difficult we have in this country is that many a time, even when we do curriculum reform, very few of us bother to read that curriculum. Maybe because it's seen as a preserve of educationists. And also, I think the difficulty we've had is that when we make changes, when we do evaluation reports, probably we don't reach to the public, for the public to realize that we are critiquing our own efforts in order to make them meaningful. It is obviously true that many a time when you learn, there is a disjoint, like I said earlier, between theory and practice. But like I indicated, the app players who have come on board, who are providing several other efforts to ensure that we develop the necessary materials, the necessary handouts, the necessary posters, brochures, and hopefully we do this to the starting with the primary and reaching even tertiary. But obviously, like I said, a number of us do not take matters of finance very seriously, maybe because most of us are used to either a salaried life. Therefore, investment is not so much an issue until the day you are retired and you find that your social security is inadequate. But I think right now with the song on entrepreneurship, the song on us having practical skills, what we see doing different is that since the president has called for curriculum reform, we will revisit our efforts and see that if there are any practical things we should do with the various stakeholders, we will then attend to them, because right now in the background, we've started curriculum reform efforts.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mr. Kamoko, before we do let you go, is there a time frame attached to this curriculum reform? Do we see it changing anytime soon within the short run?
It is apparent that if we're all working within the timetable, within a calendar year, we should be able to relook our curriculum, because based on the fact that we reviewed it in 2013, the feedback will come from the review, and based on what the UPND manifesto itself aspires to achieve in education, it will also inform the other areas that need attention, so that we have an education system that is sound, an education system that offers hope and makes the outputs user-friendly for training as well as user-friendly for the job market.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning and bringing us to light of these particular insights on the Diamond Breakfast.
The pleasure was mine. Have a blessed and fruitful day.
Thank you. Blessed day to you too.
Yes, and I feel this conversation needs to continue, because on the issue of the disparity that exists between students leaving university, I mean, I'm probably victim to this, leaving the University of Zambia, going into the workforce, and I've seen a couple of my seniors leaving school, going to their workforce, and then there's a time period again that they need to learn how to do the job, which by my assumptions, or everyone's assumptions, they would have learned in the past 4 years they were at university.
That's right.
So there's time spent that is wasted having to teach someone who is assumed to have already been taught, for them to do the job. So he's talking about how there's curriculum reforms that will happen within the calendar. I'm assuming it's probably by the end of this year, because it says in a one-year calendar, hoping that this will change, because if we're going to be on the road of economic recovery as a nation, one of the things that we need to do is ensure that we're efficient. That's why we talk about this on Let's Fix It as well, when we talk about how people are getting late to work, people are spending a lot of time on the road as opposed to being productive in the office. All this is time wasted, and this is not helping us as a country.
Indeed.
Let's